welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Well, today we are dedicating a show to talk about children with special needs. Now, parents deal with their special needs children in different ways. Some mourn their child's apparently lost potential, but other families find that their child's challenges make triumphs sweeter and that weaknesses are often accompanied by amazing strengths. Now, I have to admit, I don't know much about this subject, so I'm really looking forward to learning lots from our guests tonight. And hopefully the show tonight will also shed some light on an often misunderstood subject. My guests tonight are Jennifer O'Toole and her family. Now, she is an advocate, educator, speaker and mum and the founder of Asperger Kids. And also Juliet Diner, founder and principal of I Can Dance. Later on in the show, we'll also have our regular fashion advice from Lisa Marie as well. So if you want to get in touch at all, you can tweet Chrissy B Show, or you can post on our Facebook page as well, The Chrissy B Show. And you can also email chris@chrissybshow.tv. And don't forget, if you want any information about the show, you can find everything on the Chrissy B website, chrissybshow.tv. But first, let's introduce our first guest. That's Jennifer and John O'Toole with their children, Maura, Sean and Gavin. Hi, guys.
Hi, how are you? You as well. We're very excited to be here.
So you arrived in London just yesterday, I heard.
We did, and we are going to try very hard to not use any Americanisms during the show.
Okay.
So we will not throw everybody off. But yeah, so we're still recovering a little bit from jet lag. But
okay.
I think tonight that works in our favor.
Yes, that's fine. So
does.
Sean, you're how old?
6.
You're 6. And Maura?
9 years.
And how about you? How old are you? 3. You're 3 years old. Wow. Okay. Okay. So Jennifer, tell us about what's Asperger's. Asperger.
Yeah. I know it does sound like saying like you're eating a hamburger. I know it's really not the prettiest word. It's named after the psychologist who first established the pattern of the diagnosis, because you know, this is a personality type that's been around forever and a day. In fact, if you look back through history, it's pretty easy to tell that some of the most famous and influential people throughout history have been folks probably who fit the bill. So we're talking about people like Marie Curie or Thomas Edison or Albert Einstein. So some kind of amazing people. Wow. And it was their differences that made them extraordinary, and we wouldn't remember them if they were typical. So Asperger's is technically part of the autism spectrum. Right. And the way I describe, because the whole idea of the spectrum, I think, confuses folks to some degree. So I ask folks to visualize, you know, on a table, a line of glasses. And so if we lined up these glasses right here, and they had, you know, one had plain water, and this one had a squirt of lemon in it, and then this one had full-on, you know, lemonade, classic lemonade, then that's kind of what the spectrum is like. So that it's got all the same flavors running through it. It's just different levels of intensity. Right, okay. And so Asperger's, by definition, you are someone who has an IQ of average to more often very high, above average, often Mensa level, really smart, bright kids, but there's a disconnect. Okay. And the disconnect is between the psychosocial and the, for lack of a better term, academics, right? So these are kids who may be able to easily recite, you know, the name of every single figure who has literally ever appeared in any of the Harry Potter books in chronological order. But being able to get sequentially from their car and the drop off at school to the classroom is something that throws them off entirely.
Now this is something that you all have, right?
We do.
The whole family.
The whole family, I know. Right. Diagnosed beginning with Maura, and then Sean, and then John, and then me, and then
then John.
So
after
John was after Sean, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Maura began life spending a lot of time in hospitals and very unrelated. And so we both started talking to psychologists, Dad and I, just over the stresses of dealing with a chronically ill child. And unbeknownst to us, that psychologist happened to be a specialist in adult diagnosis of Asperger's.
Really?
Yeah. Talk about fate intervening.
Wow.
So he comes home to me one day and says, you know, by the way, I have something to tell you. So, that was a bit of a change, but it is. Yeah, absolutely. But it's given great perspective into everything that we do, both as a couple, regarding ourselves. You understand yourself better, then the better you can kind of handle life, and also certainly the way that we parent and understand our children. Yeah. So.
Okay. So what are some of the challenges that you both face then?
I would say the distractions, the having to follow them around constantly.
What you're seeing right now.
Repeating yourself over and over and over again, whatever the instruction is. I would say that was.
Do you remember your parents doing that with the both of you?
No.
Or you don't?
Not with,
you don't recall
not with me. I was very much the perfectionist. So I desperately wanted to get everything right and turn that, I think so much of what Asperger kids, what's perceived as misbehaviors by them, constant correcting, and because there's such a need for accuracy, or a craving of routine and having emotional breakdowns if those routines fall apart. I see that looking back, but misbehavior, not so much on my part.
How about John?
Yeah, John?
I lived a rather structured life, which was good.
Okay.
My dad was a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, and life was rather structured.
Okay, so it was good for you.
It was very good for me, because structure's good.
Okay.
When you know the rules, when you know what's going to happen, what's going on, routine is very good.
Yeah.
And there wasn't many surprises for me growing up.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jennifer, tell us about some of the things that you're involved with now and helping other people.
So basically what happened was through school, it's very common for schools really not to know how to handle children who are intellectually in one place and perhaps socially, emotionally in another. And they really don't know how to handle it.
Sometimes we just say, oh, these children are disruptive, but they're not. They're just...
they're trying so hard. Right.
Yeah.
And Maura went through such a tough time of her own. He can just come with me. Very, very bright little girl who was reading. She reads on a college level right now at 9.
Really?
Wow. And so school would skip grades and then bring her back because organizationally that was tough for her. And when you go back and forth, that breaks your heart after a while, you know. Yeah. And so after a little while, we decided I was going to have a teaching background, and so I was going to teach her for a little while.
Oh, do you like being taught by Mummy? Yeah, is she a good teacher?
Best decision she ever made.
Really?
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't know about best, but thank you.
And what happened was, every family that has a child with special needs knows that you are constantly being sort of watched with the best of intent, but by occupational therapists and psychologists and a myriad of extra folk that don't really enter the lives of perhaps your typical family. Well, I was waiting for them all to say, oh, that's wrong, or oh, that's wrong. Instead, it was just the opposite. It was, why are you doing that? That's fantastic. Why are you doing that? That's fantastic. Start a school. And I'm thinking, how am I supposed to start a school with these 3 people at my house? So instead it was, well, could you write a book? And so last summer I did, and sat down in 3 weeks and just wrote about what I was doing that seemed different. And I think it's just because intuitively I was built like them. I understood them, So, do
you think there are a lot of parents that have Asperger kids and they don't realize?
Oh, absolutely. And they don't know what to do. They love these children. They don't know how to connect. And the response to that has been so phenomenal. The first book that I wrote, instead of waiting the typical year to, 6 months to a year before hearing back from something, I heard from Jessica Kingsley, who is the CEO of probably the world's most renowned publisher on the subject, in 2 days after submitting.
So there's a great need for it then.
Yes, and I think there's a great need for positivity and for encouragement. And I think that being that I'm sort of a unique position of being both parent and Aspie and parent of Asperger kids and a teacher, there's a lot that I could offer, and that's what the first book happened. And we were very proud this year that Temple Grandin, who is, as I was saying, there's a biopic made about her life, and she actually was one of Time Magazine's top 100 most influential people in the world, and she picked it as the book that she thinks is the most influential and important read for parents and teachers. And we just followed up last week with the second book, which is The Secret Book of Social Rules for Asperger Kids. There's a lot of things that seem obvious to the rest of you that aren't to us.
So actually, talking about that, we've actually got a video of showing you teaching a few things. Let's take a look at this video of Jennifer in action.
for you to break things down into simple steps. And that's what this exercise was. We were actually creating a flow chart where we would have to give the directions. Go to the kitchen. Go on top of the refrigerator or in the pantry or wherever it was that you kept the bread. Get the bread down. Open the bag of bread. Walk to the utensils. Get a knife out. Then walk back over to the bread. It ended up there were 27, 37, maybe 50 steps depending upon how specific you were. It most certainly was not get some bread, put the peanut butter, and put the jelly. When you're talking to Asperger kids, you need to be really particular. And when I asked my Facebook fans of Asperger kids, what do you want to learn first? I'm going to pour it. I'm going to tell and by the way, I'm going to show first before I say just pour. I'm going to show you. Asperger kids need models to follow, concrete models to follow. They're not copying. They're watching you. They're observing details of which you may not even be aware. And then they'll be able to recreate it and add their own little zhuzh. But you got to show them first. So, all right, I'm pouring. I'm holding the handle. I'm going to even use my helper hand to balance the weight in the pitcher. I'm going to not tip it until the lip of the pitcher is over the center of the other. And then I'm going to pour.
What's it like seeing Mummy in action?
It's really cool.
It's good, yeah. Actually, you're going to teach us something, aren't you? You're going to tell us about stimming. Can you tell us about that?
So this is my fidget, but I call it a sluggy. I've done that for a while. Actually, when I was little, they pop sometimes if a sharp object pokes them because there's water in here and different kinds of stuff in different ones. I have one back at our hotel that has fish in it.
What does it do? What's it for?
Well, it's to keep me still.
Okay. So if you don't have that, do you move around a lot?
If I don't have that, I would probably be there and there and there.
Okay.
All at the same time.
All right. So does Gavin have one as well? What does Gavin do?
Apparently, Gavin is using Mommy's bracelet.
Oh, the bracelet. How about Sean? What do you use?
And Sean is using his face.
He's actually on his lips right now.
Yes, actually, that's a common thing. Is that yeah? But the movement, and this is one of the things. Gavin, you need to sit down, and this is what you're seeing. So a lot of times, the constant wiggling, for lack of a better term, right? It looks like the children are completely distracted and have no interest in what's going on, and are being disobedient, but really what's going on is they're trying to keep themselves as in the moment as possible.
Right, and that's their way of doing it.
Calming down. As I said, it's sort of like the volume turned up on an adult who's bouncing their leg under the table. It's the same thing, that without doing that, Gavin, you may not do that. Thank you so very much, and keep your hands to yourself. Simple directions. Honestly, that's a good tip. Really short, simple directions, because they're not trying to be disrespectful. It's what they need to.
But how about the adults? So, John, do you find it difficult to stay still? Is it something that passes as you become older? How is that?
Looking back on things, it's very hard for me to look back. You know, I had no idea nobody ever heard of Asperger's.
Yeah.
You know, now looking at things, I have a hard time sitting still.
Right. Okay.
Now I'm really. I'm rocking him, which is good. It keeps him calm, and it's good for me too. Otherwise, my feet would be bouncing up and down.
You also see a lot of Aspies tend to pick up habits that are oral, smoking or things, or eating, or not eating, because those are ways of also controlling anxiety. But oral stimulation is the most basic form of calming. It's what a child does, right? They suck. So you'll see that a lot of adult Aspies will look for other ways so smoking or chewing gum or eating or sucking on candy or drinking, things. So there are other ways of doing it. Mine's Starbucks.
So Jennifer, just before we go to a break, tell us about what's happening in Manchester.
So we're here in the UK for about 2 weeks, and on the 23rd, the National Autistic Society was kind enough to invite me to do an evening with Jennifer O'Toole, and I feel it's incredibly humbling. I feel so privileged, and I'm looking forward to really getting a chance to let parents know that this is not something to be sad about. I often tell kids when parents will say, "What do I say to my child?" I say, "Congratulations, because you just found out You have one of the most amazingly wired, brilliant children who's going to be loyal, devoted, kind, and truthful.
That's wonderful.
It is good. It is good stuff. Yeah. So I'm really excited. I hope a lot of people will be there so we can feel good together.
Okay. So you are going to stay with us after the break.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've also got someone else join us. Guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you, darling. Thank you very much. We're going to go to a quick break, and then afterwards we'll also be joined by Juliet Diner, who is going to be speaking to us about children with special needs and what she's doing with them concerning dance. So join us after this. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. So to introduce our next guest, let's take a look at this video.
I Can Dance started about 5 years ago by Juliet, the principal. She is a ballet teacher, a special needs teacher, and a dance movement psychotherapist. She started running it from her dining room with classes for kids on a Saturday morning. My son started attending at that time. So he got exercise, which is very difficult for some children with physical disabilities to get regular exercise. And then when I see his little face when he comes on the stage in a real theatre with 400 people in the audience, he just came alive and it was fantastic.
You know, he's not judged or made to feel that he has to be any way but himself.
He's more confident, he's more happy, and he's more friendly to everybody.
The first thing they can expect is for their child to be accepted for who and what they are and for what they can do.
When you watch him for the first time on stage, how did that feel as a parent?
Very proud and emotional, you know.
What about dancing do you like?
Ballet and she dance.
It makes me feel happy.
Are they like family to you?
Yes.
Have a chance to express themselves, to become creative and to just enjoy themselves.
Thank you guys. If people do want to find out more about I Can Dance, where can they get more information from?
So the best place is to go onto our website, which is www.icandance.org.uk, and follow the links.
It's really amazing seeing them just being themselves and not try to be someone else, and that's one thing I've learned today. Just be yourself, and you know what? That's all that matters. My time here has been absolutely amazing.
Okay, someone wants to join us on the microphone there, so I'd like to welcome Julia. Hello.
Thank you
so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So that looks amazing. So tell us, why did you set up the charity in the first place? What inspired you?
You know, I've always had a love of dance. I've seen it in my own life, and I was working at the time in educational settings as an educator and as a therapist, a dance movement psychotherapist, and I just felt that so often that the young people that I was working with needed to go and explore those same skills that they were having in these intensive therapy sessions in just a wider, social, friendlier environment, but still gaining those skills, but without the pressure of that one-to-one intensive therapy relationship. And I'd often say to parents, they just need to go to a dance class or, and just explore and experiment and express. And they'd say, but there's nothing else out there. Yeah. So I said, okay, I'll start one. And I did.
That's wonderful. But do you think some of these children sometimes are really sort of, what's the word, mollycoddled, and they try to keep away from society because they're trying to be protected rather than being allowed to express themselves? You think sometimes?
I think sometimes that can happen because of fear or response from the local community. If communities aren't supportive or environments that don't make it accessible for those young people to go into those environments. And so then I think as a parent you naturally then go, oh, I want to protect my child from any harm. But I think once they're given that opportunity, any parent wants their child to be able to express themselves, to have fun and be part of a community, and that's what I Can Dance offers.
Okay. And how do children sort of react when they first come into the class and they hear the music and they see everyone dancing? It must be really great for them.
They do. Yeah. I mean, you get different responses, and because we work with a wide spectrum of needs, so a child's response is very different. It's often about what's going on for them and what they experience, and sometimes they are so excited to be there, but they're also very overwhelmed, and maybe they're also just feeling a bit anxious. So we work with that response, and so we don't necessarily ever see anything as negative, but a way of how they're expressing being there. But at the end of the year, we always do an annual performance, and the response for that, and many people go, well, I couldn't dance in front of 400 people, and they do, and they don't hold back, and we work with them on building their confidence around it, and they do, and they just love it.
That's great. So Jennifer, what about Asperger kids? Do you think they would love dancing?
I just have to say, two things. You asked earlier about stimming and how John and I danced for 20 years.
Oh, right.
And so my solution, a very common thing is that you'll see kids on the spectrum spin. Well, I did. I would do turns all the way across the room, and it didn't look conspicuous at all because I was just dancing, Right. But that's really what I was doing. And so that love of movement, I started at 2 and I did it until I was in college. And so that was a big part of my life. And so I completely concur. And you were commenting during the break, that I think I'm more outgoing than a lot of people expect from Aspies in general. That's because I was in theater forever. Right. And so theater is essentially social skills training without somebody saying, you do this and you do this, because everyone's getting direction, So I absolutely think that movement and theatrical training are some of the best and least direct ways of supporting that without feeling like you're being, either pejorative or, a little professor going, So I think that's just fantastic. I was getting chills. I love that. There's nothing better than seeing a child who doesn't generally feel good about him or herself smile. And there's that special smile. Not the, I'm having fun smile, but the
genuine.
I feel so proud of me right now. There's nothing better in the whole wide world, and so that just
okay.
Yeah, Julia.
So, tell us about some of the things. It's mainly classes that you do. Tell us a bit about how the charity works.
So how the charity is structured at present is we offer weekly classes, mostly on Saturdays. So everyone arrives for their different ballet classes depending on the time, and we work with ages 9 to 25, from 5 to 25, and across a wide range of needs.
And can anyone join?
Anyone can join, absolutely. Lovely. And then we also offer, we do a teen social club midweek. We do our annual performance every year, which is always fantastic in a theatre. And we offer after-school clubs, workshops, and different disability awareness days in mainstream schools. So,
I know there might be some parents watching that, they have a special child, I'm going to call them this because they are special children, and they somehow feel like, why did this happen to me? And they feel so depressed and so down. Because of their child being special. Now I had my first cousin has cerebral palsy, and I remember sort of the family being very sort of towards my aunt and uncle. Oh, you poor things, some people felt awkward, and it's like, but how can that perception change? Because it's not a death. Some people treat it like a death sentence, like it's something terrible. But actually, it's going to be something beautiful as well, because you have that connection with them. They're different, they're special in so many other different ways. What would you say to parents that may be feeling that way and thinking that their life's basically worth nothing now?
I once had parents tell me what they loved about what I Can Dance offered, and especially just the statement, I can dance, was that we focused on what the child could do. And we found ways of trying to help them extend that and expand upon that. And I think so often what happens when your child is given a diagnosis of some sort, you focus, what often is told of what they won't be able to do and what they can't do. And I think it's about turning that on the head and thinking, this is an individual, and we're very much about celebrating the individual, looking at them and saying, what do they like to do, and how do we help them to do that even better?
I could not agree more. Yeah, because the diagnostic process for any, and I have one of my dearest friends from working together at the Children's Hospital, her son has cerebral palsy. I understand that. In any diagnostic process, or in many of them, it's a process of label after label after label after label, and it's always based on what's wrong, and that's usually asked in front of your child. And it not only does it destroy you, it destroys the child. And so instead, when you're focusing on, well, okay, instead of what's wrong with you, what's fabulous about you, right? And so Asperger kids tend to, for instance, and this is one of the things that I kind of really believe in, is almost classically have some area that is their special interest. Typically it's something like Star Wars or Legos, or my daughter's was mythology or dinosaurs. And we're not talking, just sort of general. It's that she taught herself to learn to read Greek and Latin at 7 because but that's not atypical. But what happens is, I actually had a mom say to me, well, we have a chart that we have up in our kitchen, and whenever my daughter starts obsessing, and that was the word that she used, and her daughter was 5, we put a X on the chart, and if she doesn't talk about it for an hour, then we put up a star. And I guess I had sort of a face, and she said, what, is that wrong? And I said, well, what your child's telling you by their choice of their special interest. Maura's first was Wicked, which happens to be playing up the street from our hotel. And her special interest was the character of the Wicked Witch, because bad press, everyone thinks she's different and bad, but she's actually the heroine. That's what she was trying to tell the world. And by using her different interests, that was the best way to educate her on any subject that she didn't want to learn, on any topic that was too emotional. Go with the special interest, because whatever the child's aptitude, if they're in a wheelchair, or as we call them in our house helping chairs, then fine. What beautiful arm movements can they do? Or if they're a child who wants to talk all day long about perhaps paleontology, like Sean, then okay, fine. What can you do with that? What adventures can you take, and what socially can you do? Can you find clubs or activities where they can make friends who don't mind talking for 3 hours about the difference between an Allosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex, so there are ways of turning everything on its head if you just kind of are looking for them.
So parents, I'm glad you're both on the program today, because at least you can help parents that are feeling this way, and even people in general, because sometimes they just don't understand what's going on, and they even sort of feel awkward around parents that have children with special needs as well.
Right.
I mean, my cousin, for example, I remember anytime we played music, he always used to come, and he loved to dance. He really loved to dance, even though, because he didn't have very good balance, he was always sort of falling over, but he was loving it. He really used to love it. And like today, like I said, there's so much he can do. Now he's working. He's got a full-time job. He rides a moped. This is in Cyprus. I don't know if they would allow it here. He rides a moped to his work every day. The only thing he doesn't do is he doesn't cook. His mum still takes him food, but he has his own flat and everything. So he's living quite an independent life. But sometimes people think, oh no, they can't do anything for themselves, but they actually can do a lot, can't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's about celebrating that individual, and working with their likes, their dislikes, and remembering that they have a personality just like us. Just because they're not able to express it in the same way as us doesn't mean it's not there. So it's just about finding that way to access that.
And to not judge their joy by your expectations. I think parents sometimes look and see that if a child isn't living the life that they either would want for themselves or expected for their child, it doesn't mean the child's not happy. And so sometimes evaluating, is your child genuinely happy? Because if he or she is, then isn't that the goal of any parent?
That's true. Julia, is there any story that really stands out for you, like an incident that happened or something that happened with someone that really sort of marked you?
I mean, I've let the parents are always so welcoming of what we do, and always sharing how it impacts on their children's lives. And I think for me, something that really just made all the hard work worthwhile was parents who've actually tried to go to other mainstream dance schools, and then their children have been asked to leave because the staff haven't been able to cope with them. And then they found us and gone, you know, now my daughter or my son can attend a dance class like every other child that chooses to do so on a Saturday morning. And feel that there's, you know, and we don't go, oh, well, they can't do this. Or we look at it and go, oh, look how fantastic they're doing. And then they're putting on costumes and being in the show. And parents are attending these shows and just going, that's my child, you know, and look what they can do, instead of, well, actually, they can't be here. So,
okay, so you do this charity. What help would you need? Like, what would be good for your charity? What help could people give at home?
Well, thank you. we need people to believe in I Can Dance, and what that means is support us. As you know, we're a small charity, and fundraising is always difficult to keep our funds going, and we're constantly having to work and struggle to make sure that we can provide the service that we do. We use highly skilled staff. We use a lot of staff in order to be able to work with the people that we work with that have really profound and complex needs, many of them. And so we require a large amount of staff and volunteers. So we need people to fundraise, to donate, to support us, to volunteer. So look on our website.
Yep, that's coming up on the screen hopefully right now. And if not, also you can also visit the Chrissy B website. We're going to have all the details of our guests tonight on the website as well. So Jennifer, I know we had quite a bit to cover, but we didn't cover half of what we wanted to. But if people want more information, they could also go to your website. Yeah?
Absolutely, and I think my simple answer would be, I would hope that they would, and not in a pat on the back way, but I hope they would pick up the Asperger Kids books, because I truly believe that the tools that can bring joy where maybe there's sorrow, and I don't want that. I want smiles, not sadness.
Oh, well, this has been such a great show. I wish you didn't have to go right now. We'll have to have another show on this one day. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for coming, dispelling a lot of myths as well, and actually showing us you're both great. You're both really great, and I love what you're both doing. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. So if you do want more information, don't forget, please do visit the website, and this video will also be up on YouTube, so if you want to share it with all your friends and everything like that at a later date, you can do, and get the word out there as well. Okay, so after the break, we're going to have Lisa Marie joining us, who's going to be giving the regular Friday fashion advice, so join us after this break. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. Forgot my name for a minute there. You know what, I've been having such a fab time on the show today, and really inspirational people loved it. And now we've got Lisa Marie with us as well, who's going to be sharing some fashion tips. Hello, Lisa Marie.
Hello.
So you got a bit of flu?
Oh, I know, it's just terrible. It's getting
but at least she came for the show, and she didn't fly up sick.
Yeah.
So
it's not like it's a man flu or anything like that. I can power through.
You can do it. So a strong woman.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so what did you think of our guest today, Lisa?
I thought it was absolutely amazing. Yeah. The I Can Dance stuff that was there, I thought it was just absolutely brilliant. The joy in those children's faces, I just think it's just giving them that outlet to do something like that. It's just amazing. Oh, the whole thing. I love it all.
Yeah. So tell us about the fashion tips for today.
Okay, well, as I was saying, we are getting to that time of year, obviously with colds and all the rest of it. So knitwear is obviously going to be our clothing of choice. But I'm trying to do different ways that we can actually bring the fashion into it as well, and change it up so it's not just the same old boring jumper and cardigan and things that we can. People can sort of use it as workwear and going out casual, all those kind of things, and make it fun. It's just about playing with it and trying something different.
Okay,
so
do tell us.
I'll try. So the first one that we have, obviously I love a peplum.
Yes, I know. She made me get one.
Peplum, yeah.
I love peplums too.
And we have this knitted peplum top from Oasis. It's £42. It comes in, I think it's like a hot pink as well. I just realised, my finger's upside down. This is bad production. This is not down to me. So seriously, on my side, whoever's watching, it is the right way up. So just ignore that. So back to the fashion.
Sorry, I just distracted you. I don't think you meant to say it. We're supposed to try and turn it around discreetly, and then she just goes and blabs it on live TV.
No, because if I turn it around, that means that mine is upside down. So that's not going to work.
At least
I'm not feeling that great.
It's not important. Okay, sorry.
So back to the fashion.
Sorry, yeah.
So this top, peplum, love it. It's obviously going to be, as I said, massive autumn, winter still. It's on everything. So this way you can still stay warm while being fashionable. And we put it in with these capri trousers. They're from Next. Just got a little zip pocket detail on the side as well, so that obviously you can wear it with something else later, because that detail will be hidden this time by the peplum. And keeping the nice, it's all going wrong today, nice slim fit trouser as well, so that you're accentuating the peplum detail on the top. You wouldn't want to team that with a bootleg or anything like that. You want to keep it slim fitting. Gorgeous shoes. I will always love detail on the shoes, and the higher the heel, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, what happened? Your heels are quite low today. That's a bit unusual.
We've gone with wedges, but we've still got a heel.
She normally has these killer heels on, don't you?
Next time.
Yeah, okay.
So these ones are by Steve Madden. And they're £90. He does absolutely fantastic shoes. These ones were off very.co.uk. He's got a whole range on there as well. But these ones with the studded detail, fantastic. And then this very expensive looking necklace is only £12.99 from New Look. So, and that one as well will take you through going autumn, winter, party dresses, all that kind of thing, to add a little something later on as well. So a nice little cute outfit there. And as well for those...
Any body type, would you say?
That's what she's going to say.
Tell us about that, because, sometimes we can wear that. I mean, it looks great there, but maybe if I was to wear that, it wouldn't look so good, or...
It would. It still can. It's just you have to be careful with the length of the peplum that's on the bottom. Because if you're somebody, for example, if you're pear-shaped, it's going to accentuate in the wrong way. So you want to go for a top that may have a slightly longer peplum that's going to skim over that part, because this one is a slightly shorter one. If for an hourglass figure, it's obviously going to look amazing on. If you have like a kind of a boyish figure, it's going to give you the waist that you want. And also as an alternative, because you don't just have to wear it with the trousers as I've styled it there, you could wear it with a skirt, because of peplum dresses are obviously big news. You can put a nice little waist belt around there to accentuate the waist as well. So it's a way about incorporating different accessories into that. It's just a really nice long look, I should say. So put my teeth back in.
I'll excuse you because you got flu.
Yeah.
You're allowed to make mistakes today.
Thank you.
Please don't give it
just
to me,
today.
because I don't want it. I've got live shows next week.
I'll try. Well, if I've managed it, you can.
Yeah, okay. That told me.
Moving on to our next look. It's we've got a pencil skirt and jumper look. Now, for this season as well, it's about tucking that jumper into the pencil skirt.
I don't like that jumper.
You would like it if I had it here and you had it on. Really? It's got really nice just stud details there across the shoulders.
Maybe I'll have to see it on.
Trust me, it's fabulous. So...
Do you like me? I blatantly say when I don't like something, don't you? You must come here thinking, oh my God, what's she going to say?
It's all right, because the days when we actually get the clothes in the studio, you are going to eat your words.
Okay.
And then I think
I like most of the stuff.
Another future idea I think would be then for me to make you over, and then you can't say anything. We'll put you in stuff like this.
It's
would make it happen. So this is $19.99 from New Look. So they're obviously going, as we said, it's getting colder. You don't need to sacrifice wearing like a shirt or anything like that. Put this jumper on with the pencil skirt. Still look fab in the office as well. Pencil skirt is $19.99 from H&M, which is also a firm favourite of mine. These court shoes, as I said, always love a heel. But with the platform, it's obviously a lot better if you're not used to wearing high heels. So these berry court shoes, from $19.99 at New Look. They also come in black, they also come in grey, and I think in a navy blue as well. And the clutch, £38 from Oasis. But just a tip on the heels, because as I say, I do love wearing heels, and I always
Do you actually walk down the street with them, or do you put them in your
I
handbag?
can run to the bus.
Are you
with
serious?
my heels.
How? Because I always have to have them in my handbag, and I wear my flats to walk fast. And then
if I'm going somewhere really, really far, then fine. Because as we know, there are some high heels that they weren't made to walk in, just made to look fabulous. But if you're not used to wearing them, don't do it. Because, I mean, I was out the other day and I saw a girl, and she was wearing an absolutely fantastic dress, but the heels she was wearing were too high and she couldn't walk in them. So it's like, instead of looking at, oh my gosh, this girl looks amazing in this dress, you're thinking, oh my gosh, she can't walk in those heels. So for anybody, don't try and get the skyscraper heels if you're not used to walking in them, because they're going to wear you, you're not going to wear the shoe.
But how do you perfect that though? Because you say you can run for a bus in heels and I'll be scared of breaking my ankle. How do you learn to, how do you do it?
Practice. It's just practice. Don't be afraid to be like at home and walk your heels in and get used to them. In fact, Sarah Jessica Parker, because obviously her character in the TV show, she always had these skyscraper heels on. So she said that she used to wear ankle weights and wear the shoes around the house, so that when she was actually on set, it would feel like she's wearing nothing because she's just so used to them. And I remember for my sister's
wedding, I can just see everyone at home now, the ladies getting ankle weights and walking around the house.
For my sister's wedding, I had a pair of skyscraper heels and they didn't have a platform, so it's just flat and the heel was like this.
Oh my gosh.
But they looked amazing, so I was like, I had to have them. So for a couple of days before the wedding, I would just walk around in the house with them, so that when it came to the actual day, I was used to the heel height and it was okay. I had a spare pair of shoes, obviously, for later on in the evening. Once everyone had seen my shoes and how amazing they were, and then you can change. But don't let the heels wear you, because everyone won't be looking at how amazing you look. They'll be thinking,
you can't
shouldn't
walk.
have. Yeah.
Okay.
And practice, practice, practice.
Okay.
And for my last look, we've got a knitted dress. This is £45 at House of Fraser by Yumi. And it comes with that cute little belt there as well. But obviously, as it's black, you can interchange that belt with whatever colour you want to. We don't need to just stick to the boring black opaques, as great as they are, and a fashion staple, always in my wardrobe. Go for a bit of colour.
Love that dress, by the way.
Thanks very much.
Peplum.
Yeah, always.
Yes, okay.
We go for a bit of colour, and that's why we've got these lovely berry tights. They're from Topshop, but so many different places do them. It's just that this was just a nice shade that I found. Goes to Dorothy Perkins, Henry Holland, Pretty Polly. There are so many different places, Primark even, and they're about £1. So even if you're not sure about wearing them, you're not sure about which colours go for, if you go for somewhere like Primark, you won't be that bothered that you've spent £1 on a pair of tights that you're never really going to wear again. These shoe boots, I absolutely love them. Obviously, I'm rocking the wedges today, but a way to incorporate a little bit of animal print in there as well. I think absolutely amazing. And they are $64.99 by Revell. If you buy them online at newlook.com, they are $64.99. If you actually go to their website, it's £80. So go to New Look.
Okay, that's a good hint there.
They do a good online deal. Zara do absolutely amazing shopper bags. This one is $39.99. They've got a whole different range there, and that's amazing. And they have, I think they go up to like £129 depending on the kind of style you want. But tan will never ever go out of fashion.
That's a good staple to have in your wardrobe all the time.
Get a nice tan bag, nice tan. If you want an alternative, everyone has black. Do you know, all the time? Again, nothing wrong with it because it goes with absolutely everything. But an alternative that also goes with most things is a lovely tan bag as well. And we finish off the outfit with this heart necklace. It's only $5.99 from New Look as well. So that's only a few hints and tips if you go out there, because knitwear it's big on the catwalks as well. It was for the start of this season. Obviously now they've moved on to Spring Summer 13. But it's like different like animal prints. It had like owls, lots of different studding details. So all the different trends that are out there at the minute, you can also then incorporate with the knitwear. So military is out there, baroque, which is like very luxe, monochrome. There's so many different things that everyone.
How about bright colours? Are they sort of in this season, or because I do like my bright colours?
You can always rock bright colours. See, with me, I'm like, I do pay attention to what's coming in, but also work with what works for you. Don't ever be a slave to the trend, because it's not always going to work for everybody. And for those people who change it all the time, they don't really know their own sense of fashion. So it's like, I know that fluoro is obviously it's not one that's ever going to work for me. No matter how many times it comes in fashion, it's never going to work for me. So that's not something I'm going to do. I can show other people like tips to wear it, but that's not something that I'm going to do. So for the colours that are coming in, there will be some brights. It may not be as bright as what you like. So still incorporate what you have and just learn to layer it up and dress it up, because it's going to be like a lot of berry hues that are coming in now, like so the purpley type berry, teals, oranges, you know, those kind of forgetting it's those autumn colours, so it's that kind of thing. And then, but don't worry, Sim will be doing stuff on like party dresses and alternative to the little black dresses and all that. Oh yes, don't worry, it's all coming.
Something to look forward to then as
well.
well.
Definitely. So there's lots of different things that we can do.
Okay, thank you so much, Lisa Marie.
No problem.
Fashion tips. And we are going to go now.
Yeah,
time to go. Yeah, I hope I didn't get all your germs, but I'm sure I did. All right, then. So that's it for today, folks. But if you do want more information, you can visit this website, chrissybshow.tv, and don't forget you can find all the programs right from the beginning. All on there's a link to our YouTube channels when you can find everything there. And don't forget, do revisit us on Monday at 9:30 p.m. because we're going to be speaking about violence against women. So it's going to be a very, very important subject. You should get everyone to watch because you don't really know who is going through this. So please do spread the word about Monday's show as well. So do have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday. Bye-bye for now.
I am here with Shally Schiff. I'm here with Shally Schiff. I'm here with Shally Schiff, charity manager of I'm here with Shally Schiff,